I just discovered a Joseki that literally feels illegal. You cannot find this Joseki anywhere inside textbooks, only through AI and discovering the depths of Go. And in this video, I'm going to show you this Joseki and explain it so clear that you can trap your opponents in your next game of Go. I found this Joseki with my brain, with AI, and I studied the depths of this Joseki. Now let's get started. Let's say you start a game off with something like this, okay? Now for this Joseki to work, you have to play the start points. When your opponent approach, you just play a one space enclosure. If they enter the corner, then this is already good for you. Because when you take the 3-3 and your opponent extend, you can just jump out and make very big amounts of territory. Or when your opponent slide into the corner, you can just tenuki and play elsewhere, build territory elsewhere. Here is where things can get very fun and very intense. If you're a single TGQ player, you might have faced something like this. Your opponent peeps your one space jump, you connect, your opponent slides in the corner, and you don't want to play this 3-3 straight away because this exchange, this one space jump for your connection exchange is good for white. Here is where things can get very intense. But before we get into the intense part, I'm going to show you one good Joseki you can use if you are faced with this peep. A common Joseki is black can use a kick this one stone, white push and cut, black connects, white extend, and black capture this one white stone. Alternatively, white can also capture the stone in a ladder and black hane and capture and try to basically capture the stone. White will play another move to capture the black stone because white does not want any ladder breakers, and black can play another move to capture the stone. This is a pretty nice Joseki, a pretty even Joseki. Another way white can play this is white can use an extension, and usually black connects over here, white jumps toward the center, and black can play somewhere else. Black can choose to use a 2-space jump or approach white's corner. Later on, if black answers, then white can extend and build very nice territory on the bottom side of the board. You came to this video not to see basic textbook Joseki, but to see a Joseki that feels illegal. And we'll get to it right now. When white peeps, you will just connect. Just connect and let white think white is happy to take the slide into black's corner. Now what do? From the brilliancy of AI and the rise of Google DeepMind and KataGo, this move became possible. The move is second line approach. What in the world is this move? This is crazy. This is crazy stuff. If white plays 3-3 and take black's corner, look at this move. Black is going to attach. If white push, black cuts. If white takes the corner, black extends. And these 3 white stones are not safe in the corner. White needs another move, and it gives black the opportunity to fly toward the center and attack these 4 white stones. These 4 white stones have no eyes, no eye shape, and no territory. So black can easily attack these white stones. If I choose to build shape, black can then block a 3. If white plays a 4, this move is another sente. Because if white doesn't play anywhere, let's say white jump toward the center, black can hane a 7 and hane over here. And this white group is dead in the corner. I'll show you a few variations. This is one variation where white is dead. And if white tries to play 2-1 vital point, this is the second variation where white is dead. If white connects here, black captures everything. So in this position, white is already in trouble. So what should white do? Where is the only move or the ideas that white can play in this position? First of all, white can play this move. This is, again, not very human looking move. A basic human who's learned Go from basic textbooks is not going to play this kind of move, right? This move is not a move that humans can play. The idea of this is if black, let's say, plays somewhere else, then white is going to take the corner. And this move defends and prevents this attachment and cut. Now, a common way for black to respond is black takes the 3-3 and white plays a 2-space extension. This stone is pretty much dead, not yet dead, but black still has some kind of usability for this stone. This stone still can be a bit useful later on. For example, black can play this move. This threatens to attach at the second line and connect these stones together. And white, one more time, can use a bump. Black extends, and white can jump towards the center. Now this black stone is completely captured. Another way for white to handle this position is white can use a diagonal move. When white uses a diagonal move, black is not going to just simply attach over here. Okay? If black attach over here, white can just push up and then capture this one black stone. This is quite a good result for white. White has built a very nice shape. This stone can't really run anywhere, and white also has some territory, which is quite nice. So a very common way for black to respond is black can either use a nice move or black can use a diagonal move. When black uses a Kosumi or a diagonal move, white still cannot go into the 3-3. If white goes in 3-3, black is still attached, and if black cuts, black can still go back. So although this is slightly better than the first variation, this is still not very good, because black can still jump toward the center and white does not want to deal with this mess toward the center. So after black does a diagonal move, white has a few choices. If white's aim is to take the corner at 3-3, then white can simply play a number 3, a tiger's mouth. This tiger's mouth forces black with two choices. Either save these two stones, or these stones will get attacked. If black saves the two stones, white takes the corner. If black takes the corner, white can attack with either A, B, or C. One of these moves. Basically, when white attacks these two stones are forced to run toward the center, and white can chase these black stones toward the center as well. If white does not want to play this move, white also has this variation. This jump gives white the direction to run either left side or toward the top side. Usually black will simply extend and save this one black stone. So the idea and the logic behind this move is, if white wants to answer against this one very stodgy looking black move, the logic behind this move is, if white is going to answer to this black stone, very likely white is going to catch black's bait and fall into black's trap. So instead, white just play elsewhere, develop and build its own shape, and give its stones a breathing room to jump toward the center or run away in the future. A common response from this position is black save this one black stone. White can either take the corner or protect this corner. Now with these 4 white stones, it's quite hard for black to attack. These stones are very light and very flexible. White has many choices when black attacks these stones. White can choose to sacrifice them, take the corner, or jump toward the center. I'll show you guys one more variation from this position. After white builds some shape toward the center and black jumps out, white can take the corner. Now, you might wonder, can black still play this move? Yes, black still can play this move. White can now clamp with number 5. Black should usually exchange this move for this move, and black connects. Now, the reason this works for white is black cannot use a hane over here. If black hanes, white can simply block. This stone will get captured, so if black connects over here, then it makes white a very good shape. White naturally gets a very good shape. So in this position, the best way for black to deal with this is either jump out over here or jump out and build his territory elsewhere. Both players have settled. White is alive. Black is also alive. Let me show you why this clamp doesn't work as well. If black plays the same thing, black has this hane. And this hane is very painful for white to deal with. If white hane, then it gets cut. Black is going to cut white apart. If white goes over here, white probably does not want to see this shape happen in his own games. This is a very bad shape for white, and with this nice move, black pretty much sealed white in. If white push out and cut over here, black is going to extend. If white capture, black is going to cover the outside. If white choose the attachment, black can hane, and even though white can make a good shape, black can Atari and double hane, or block on top. It looks like black has so many cutting points, but the idea is black is going to sacrifice one of his stones. If white Atari this way, black is going to sacrifice this stone. If white cuts and Atari this way, black is going to sacrifice this stone. When you are faced with his Joseki, make sure if you're playing white, you don't enter the 3-3 immediately. Although this is the most tempting move in this Joseki, This move will give Black a very early advantage. With the rise of AI, Go has become way more fun and way more creative. It has broken the traditional rules of Go, and new ideas are constantly being discovered and being formed in the game of Go. Try out this trick. When your opponent approaches your corner, try to play the one space jump. If your opponent peeps, you can go in to play the second line trick and see if your opponent falls for the trick, and see if your opponent really plays a 3-3, and if they do, well, you get a good start to the game. See you guys in the next video.